But when are they coming in? They're coming in at the time of Isa alayhi salam. If they're coming in the time of Isa alayhi salam, then where are they right now? They better be on this planet, because they'll be breeding till Isa alayhi salam comes in. And if we cannot see them right now, that will only mean that we have not discovered this planet.
Yeah.
So much so that we have not discovered most of this planet, because these people are 999 to 1.
Yeah.
Okay, by at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these people either have come in, and a lot of scholars say that they came in way before you can talk about. Then why are we talking about Isa alayhi salam and Yajuj Majuj?
Yeah.
Why is Isa alayhi salam going to kill them? And why Allah is saying that we've opened up Yajuj and Majuj?
Yeah.
So there cannot be the Chinese or the Caucasians.
So now.
Okay, ayah number 88 now. As for those who will believe and do good, they will have the finest reward, and we will again assign them easy commands. Dr. Ghadi says, then he will have as a recompense the fairest reward, and we soon will say to him, of our command, cease. Okay, that's very confusing. Amrina Yusra. Yeah, Amr means command, and Yusra is easy.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, so see, that's something which is pointing towards,
So like there's not enough detail about
absolutely
these
no
people.
detail.
Yeah.
That's the point of these ayahs, that we're not giving you detail of what actually was going on with those people, and, or what happened to those people.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened to those people.
Yeah.
But because it's a general rule, Zulkarnain says, people who are doing good will be rewarded by good. People who are actually aggressors will be punished according to what they. That's the rule. We all know that. So the real beauty of these three ayahs, the Ayn Hamiyya and Maghrib al-Shams.
Okay. From here he takes another portal. Ayah number 89. It says, "Thumma atba'a sababa." So then he traveled a different course.
Now he's on the
another pathway.
Yeah, he's on the same pathway in a different direction, because he's going to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to tell us where he's going, because he's still in the Sababa at this time.
Okay. Ayah number 90. Until he reached the rising point of the sun. He found it rising on a people for whom we had provided no shelter from it. From the sun means. You want to make a point?
Yes, because I have a different translation here.
Dr. Ghali says, until when he reached the rising of the sun, he found it rising upon a people for whom we had not made a screen therefrom.
Yeah. Now let's just talk about this. This is going to be taking a long. Can we cover this in this episode? These two ayah.
I think
we covered this journey till we hit the Yajuj Majuj.
Okay.
Because then it's going to really open up.
Yeah.
So let's just cover this first nation.
Yeah. Okay. Inshallah.
Hatta idha balagha matli ash-shams. Now, on the planet Earth, there is a protection from the sun. Now, even if there isn't, let's assume the hottest place on the planet, or place where there is some sort of a breakup of some sort of mesosphere or ozone or whatever layer which protects us from the sun.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to get out of that place or to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if we take the Maghrib al-Shams meaning, we'll have to take the Matla al-Shams meaning here as well. That when the star is taking birth, when the star is being born. And by the way, we missed out on the Maghrib al-Shams in Surah Yasin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that every star is moving towards its destination.
Yeah.
And that's something which we can easily corroborate here.
Yeah.
Mustaqarrilla shamsu wa tajri mustaqarrillaha. And we know the Quran itself is saying that they're moving toward their final part of the destination, the journey, the death,
which is definitely cannot be explained by their rotation.
Oh yeah. It has to be a linear journey.
Yeah.
So hatta balagha matla ishams means Then he went to the place which was close to the nebula or wherever the sun is going to be born.
Yeah.
And when the sun is born, or when a star is being born, naturally the place which that's one of the meanings.
And there are millions of nebulas.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
sun has come from one of
One of them,
nebulas.
yeah. So the one meaning that is very clear here, one of the meanings. There are two meanings which are totally clear, and the third meaning which is not clear. We'll also talk about that. The first meaning is when the star takes birth. It is at such a certain level of whatever radioactivity is going, that there is no planet around it which can actually cover through any ozone that it has to stop that radiation. And that's what the people are saying. We are not getting any protection from this thing, this star that we have. Do something about it. Because at this time, this is a place which is close to the birthplace of the sun.
Okay.
And when the star takes birth, science till date does not know what kind of emission is coming out of there.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to a certain point in its own lifetime, that's what we see our sun doing, from hydrogen to helium, and converting ferrous into ferric.
Yeah.
So at that time, the plasma, maybe they're so close, and the plasma is all over the place.
Yeah.
Or maybe the heat is too much. Or maybe the light is too much. Because light is too much means that planet is not rotating around its own axis. Or, cause I don't take that meaning, because then they can travel to the other part of the planet.
Yeah.
So, but it's not so easy for people to just take off and just, that's not. I think it took us thousands and thousands of years to go to the other side of the planet. Yeah. We all should know that.
I think you should talk more about why it's not the people on this earth.
Yeah, but I was going to save it for the last, but okay. Okay, let's just talk about that. The first thing is, like, if there's a place like this, as you said, on earth where there's no cover from the sun and it's impossible for the inhabitants of that area to survive in that place, they can always migrate. And mass migrations have been happening about it. Throughout the centuries. Ibn Kathir says they were not sealing the roofs of those people. They had walls.
Yeah.
They had walls.
Yeah.
But no roofs.
No roofs, yeah. That's what Ibn Kathir says.
Yeah. Okay. That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But why can't they just go behind the walls?
Yeah.
Or they knew what the wall structure is. They just did not have the sense to, put horizontal, ceilings on top. It's okay. It could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. The question is, get out of there.
Yeah.
What does Zulkarnain do? Teach them how to put a ceiling on top of 4 walls?
Yeah.
That sounds like a king to me here.
Yeah.
But let's just assume that it was. But that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is these people on this planet, we're just keeping these people on the planet. These people were in a place where there was absolutely no cover from the radiation of the sun.
Yeah.
Okay?
No sky.
Yeah, it has to.
No atmosphere.
Yeah. No. That's not this planet, because this planet. How come those people are breathing if they don't?
That's the point he's making. That since there's no place like this, now we have to go out of the earth.
There has the atmosphere, because people were, because if you're putting these people on this planet, we have to put all 3 people on the planet, because there are 3 people here.
Yeah.
The one that he just met, the one he's going to meet.
Yeah.
This is the second people that he just met.
Older Mufassirun had put all these nations on earth, by the way.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
So how come these people in the middle, all of a sudden,
on the same earth, were still in a place
where there's no atmosphere?
Yeah.
Or let's just assume that there's no atmosphere.
While
that becomes even more fun. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Then Zulkarnain went up and put some atmosphere there.
Yeah.
He still has to go up.
Yeah.
To do whatever he could.
Yeah.
To put some atmosphere.
But we know that few hours back, there were still some people who didn't have an atmospheric problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were living there. Yeah. And the next people will also have atmosphere.
Yeah.
This is east.
Yeah.
So there was no atmosphere in the east.
In the west.
No, this is east. Yeah, according to them, this is the east. Matla Shams.
Yeah.
So the real question is that even if they did not have any protection from the sun, what did he do?
Yeah.
What did he do? We do not have anything which says anything about what Zulkarnain did.
Subhanallah. Because in next ayah it says, so it was, and we truly had full knowledge of him.
Yeah. So the question is, what kind of problem can human beings have? Human beings on this planet, where they will say we do not have any protection from sun. So we know that these are the. I mean, there are so many narrations in the Hadith about this. Since they'll be known as weak, so I'm not going to go there. But it's a problem we better solve here, because we're talking about Zulkarnain and the Dajjal here in Surah Kahf. You can't just leave it for later, because later the Dajjal is coming. So there's not going to be the better time to discover the meaning than this. So understand, if we put Sababa in the heavens, it makes perfect sense that there's a planet where the sun was too close.
Sabab means a portal that led to the black hole where the sun was setting, and another direction
towards the nebula where the sun was coming up, and then there were many planets there, and he saw people, and then
and we know that already through the Quran there is a possibility of many planets.
Oh yes, and people.
Yeah.
Through the Hadith in the Quran, there are different people.
Yeah, in the Quran also, there is a mention of many creatures. Yeah. Many creations.
Yeah, that's the question we didn't cover. The aliens.
Spread them between.
We never covered different living beings in different, because we should have covered that in the context. But this is a general consensus.
And the word used in that particular ayah is daba.
Daba. Yeah.
That is a living thing.
Yeah. Aqil.
Flesh and blood thing.
Yeah.
Intelligence. It's not a spiritual being.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the word minhum means aqil.
Minhum means
that means with brains.
Yeah.
So minhum doesn't mean with brains. The fact that the pronoun hum is used, which means that these were.
By the way, there's also this, at another point, Quran says that we have made you better among a lot of creation. Right.
Surah Bani Sahil, ayat 70.
Yeah.
Surah Bani Sahil, ayat 70 says that we've given you, we've made you better than most of what we have created. Most of the creations. That means not all of them.
Not all of them. Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking directly to Bani Adam at that time. So we should know that the Quran is pointing right towards all of these concepts, and we better get our heads around that. So he went to a place where there is no atmosphere, or maybe the star is too close.
Yeah.
And whatever he did with them, maybe he spun their planet out. Maybe, I don't know, but we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be, because this guy has some serious power.
Yeah.
Now, he could have put the whole planet into a totally different spin.
In a habitable zone.
Yeah, in the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
Or could be anything.
Yeah.
So, this is something which is one of the most interesting parts, because the next people will not have any other problem which are celestial level. They will be having a problem with Ya'juj Ma'juj. So let's just keep it till here.
Yeah.
Because it says Summa Atba'u Sababa again, and that's the last of his journeys, and then that's where the real peak of the Surah Kahf comes into place, because that's the connection between Zulkarnain and Ya'juj Ma'juj, and then Ya'juj Ma'juj is connected to the time of Isa alayhi salam. Isa alayhi salam is connected to the Dajjal, and that's why we know that when Ya'juj Ma'juj is going to come, they're going to use these sort of sababas or portals or pathways, which Zulkarnain is about to close in the next few ayahs.
Moving on to ayah number 92 from the story where Zulkarnain met a nation who did not have any protection from the sun. So he fixes that for them. And then ayah number 92 says, then he traveled a third course. He took another means. 93, until he reached a pass between two mountains. He found in front of them a people who could hardly understand his language.
Yeah, the real question here is the way, because this word Saddain comes in the next ayah in a singular form, Sadda, in 93.
Yeah.
So he didn't build a mountain.
Yeah.
Because they asked him to build a barrier. Okay, let's just assume that we can take the current translators, the wall. He built the wall. So that word in plural would not mean walls.
Yeah.
Because right now he hasn't built anything right now.
Yeah.
So hatta idha balagha bayna saddain means two different barriers. It's not mountain. Well, in their very words, if we check the conventional translation, it would mean that hatta idha balagha bayna saddain means
between the two
until
walls.
he reached the two walls.
Yeah.
Okay, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He actually is going towards or between two different doorways, which are closed or open, doesn't matter. But the point is, at that time, I think they were open. But these are two passes, two gateways. And wajada min dunihima would mean beyond that. When he went beyond that, he found beyond those two passes. Dunihima is a plural again of the two. But dunihim would mean more than two. So wajada means he found beyond them people. So this is something which is very, very critical in this specific part of the surah. It takes real life into how we're going to actually put that word sababa into its real meaning. Because if sababa is a pathway towards different dimensions or planets or places in the universe, this would mean a totally different thing. It's not a mountain.
Yeah.
And plus the next ayah itself says it's not a mountain because, تَجْعَلَ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ سَدًّا.
Yeah.
That's how it ends.
That's in ayah number 94.
93.
Sadda. The word sadda is in 94.
94, sorry. Yeah, 94. So in 93, it says Saddain.
Yeah.
So it's all sitting on that pillar of Sababa. And so Ma'atba'u Sababa is the same word which leads to the meaning of Saddain and Sadda. So this is where the bigger delta comes into, how the conventional scholars are using this translation versus what I think is going to open a bigger canvas of how we should look at the whole universe and the whole, this schema of how things are being run. And now we know through science that, this is not just a myth. However, let's just come to science later. Let's just talk about history. We know that historically, there have been civilizations who've been talking about this blatantly, and not in any gray symbols. They were talking about literal journeys. Not only that they drew about it, but they actually had a lot of narrative specifics to people and names of people, and the kind of stories that they have been talking about, they have a lot more relevance to our theological backdrop of Idris alayhi salam and before Adam alayhi salam and right after Adam alayhi salam. And it takes me right into the heart of the matter, which is Nuh alayhi salam. Quite frankly, Idris alayhi salam, since Surah Maryam has Idris alayhi salam, that's why I keep referring to him. However, the real relevance to all of that and the proof of all of this sits inside the story of Nuh alayhi salam. And since Nuh alayhi salam has a very peculiar advantage over every other prophet, and that's his age. Yeah, we have to really try and explain all of those mysteries, which are mysteries. Yeah, through Surah Kahf's these doors of Surah Kahf. So let's just say if Sababa is the actual portal towards things, that will also put Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam's perspective right in the place. That would also mean that Nuh alayhi salam was way more than 950 years of age, since the age of dawah of Nuh alayhi salam is 950 in the Quran. Yeah. Now, why would there be not more generations, more than 60 generations of Nuh alayhi salam in this planet while he was doing dawah? But we only find one generation. And the big dispute about whether the desolation was over the planet or not. The bigger question was how did he actually gather up all the animals in the Bible? Yeah, which of course the Quran refers to as well. Yeah, Quran did not use the word every, but the Quran used the word in an imperative tense as to gather the females and the males of the animals. Now, the Quran did not specify if they're not every animal. Yeah. So we'll have to take the Bible's account on this.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why I'm talking about Nuh and Idris alayhi salam, because this is the one of those moments where the Quran is actually, opening up the Muslim eye towards all of those things. So what my contention is, well, actually, let me just give you my perspective first, that if Nuh alayhi salam was 950 plus and Adam alayhi salam was 1000 years plus, then there has to be some sort of an event which we know in terms of physiology of the human being, that all of a sudden no human being is going to live more than about, let's just say 100 years old.
Yeah.
And that too is such a big question mark.
Is there a hadith also about it?
About people
The
having
age.
more ages before Musa alayhi salam and all that, which of course is explained here as well, because Isa alayhi salam is 2063 right now. So we can really know of how Nuh alayhi salam and Adam alayhi salam were taking their ages, and this also explains all of that puzzle. That because I always used to wonder as to why Nuh alayhi salam had a 950 year of dawah,
Yet just one.
one child who was first generation only.
Yeah.
He should have been talking to the greatest of his greatest grandsons at that time.
Yeah.
And that should have been a population of millions of people.
Yeah.
I'm not, because he's not the only one who's having kids. I'm talking about, the whole tree of the whole tribe and all the people of Noah. So it's a bigger problem that I don't know why the thought does not really ponder over those certain areas of the Quran, because they're really open. It's it's a matter of common sense as to why wouldn't we think about this? And the explanation comes from here, because as soon as we put the concept of time in portals, all of a sudden you can understand as to
possibility of everything.
Yeah, exactly. It explains it way more simply than anything else that you want to do it and do here through other spectrums. So the fact that if we combine the Bible and the Quran together in the specific context of Nuh alayhi salam, there's a reason why Nuh alayhi salam becomes that much more important, because the Bible itself says that the time of Dajjal is going to be the time of Nuh. Exact same sort of things are going to happen.
Wow.
So this is a very big key that we might be using later on. So if every animal in the Bible is correct, which it seems so, there's way more probability of that being correct than only the local animals or some animals, because there's no way to prove that. There's a lot more ways of proving that every animal was collected, but then the question is, how can one man collect every animal?
From the whole planet Earth.
No, maybe not just from the planet. Why are we just keeping it from the planet? Yeah, but could be, let's just say it's just from the planet. But if we have this sort of technology, then that's not even a problem. That is so not a problem, because then you have no limitation of time. And still, whatever, since there is some sort of, because the Surah Ma'arij says that, there is some sort of time lapse from, even if that journey is taken at that speed, still some time will be passed.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that 950 years would pass to do the mission of Nuh in every portal that he was doing, through every portal, the use of every portal. And 950 years were passed here in the portals. In age on this planet, he was a regular age guy. That's why he just had one son or one generation.
There's another hadith about the Mi'raj of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but I don't think it's authentic.
It's not. Otherwise, that would have been my first go-to hadith.
But let's just mention it. Because,
yes, please.
Because why is it still found in the Zaifa hadith is that when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was about to pass, he asked the Jibreel that I was promised the age of 73 or 93 maybe, but I'm only 63 right now. And the angel replies that because you spent 20 or 25 years of your life on Mi'raj.
Yeah, and I personally want to use that hadith.
Yeah. And
because it fits right in the puzzle.
Yeah.
Of Nuh alayhi salam and Adam alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam and so on and so forth, and Idris alayhi salam.
Yeah.
And here we must mention the story of Harut Marut as well. Because Harut Marut, Ali bin Abi Talib says that Harut and Marut were in the time of Idris alayhi salam. Now this is
Wow.
yeah, and I'll tell you why I'm mentioning Harut Marut, because this is the same sort of doors that Harut Marut are known for.
Yeah. So, well, one point here, like Harut Marut is a very interesting story because they are the only two angels who lived on Earth as human beings.
Yeah.
Like people at least recognize them as human beings. And then if they are in the time of Idris alayhi salam, then Idris is the first prophet, maybe not the first, but the known prophet who died on the fourth heaven, was taken alive to the fourth heaven and has been a time traveler.
Yeah, for sure. Well, whether he traveled time or not, but he did ask for time. That's the first thing Hadith says.
Yeah.
That I want more time. And because he wanted to write more, because he was writing up every piece of knowledge that the angels were giving. And this is Hadith we're talking about. And Harut Marut in the Hadith is a certain story that we know that talks about the doors. The woman that they actually, they both wanted to marry the woman, or whatever was going on between them and the woman. That's irrelevant. But what the woman specifically asked for was the keys to the doors that they actually used to travel up and down.
Can you please explain this shortly, the whole thing?
Sure, yeah. Well, the collection of hadiths about Harut and Marut are not well respected in terms of their health. However, they still are here, and I want to use them because those are 1400 years old commentaries, even if they're not hadiths.
Yeah.
So, why are they all of that zaif text talking about all the intergalactic portals? Yeah. So the psychology was there. The proof of concept is there. I want to use the word psychology. The proof of concept of portals was within the Sahaba. So the story of Harut Marut goes through different hadiths. Is that there was a king who had a son who was really ill. And that was the test that was given to Harut Marut at the same time, and the king was ruling here. The option of going to this planet and living the life and going through the test of human beings was given to three different parties. Two of the parties rejected that offer. That we won't be able to live up to this sort of test. And Harut Marut, by their own choice, they opted for it. So when they came in, this was the setting of the planet at that time. The king had a son who was really ill, and there was a disease nobody could figure out, and he was offering a lot more. A reward for it. These two came in as regular folks of pious nature, and they in short, they fix up the child. And then the king really honored them, and they were the two most revered people on the planet at that time, at least in that nation. So they actually found out this girl who was really beautiful, and that was one of those tests that this was going on in the planet, because we're all going through those tests. A beautiful girl is one of the mightiest of tests. So these both of these angels, they really wanted to connect with that woman.
And here we've skipped the whole part of they were teaching magic and stuff like that.
I'm not going to that, because that is a detail. The Quran itself says that. I'm talking about the hadith only here.
What happened?
The Quran actually talks about how people used to approach Harut Marut. Quran never said that they were teaching magic to them. Quran says they were warning them about the magic. So the woman that they really wanted to be with, she was seducing them. And she specifically asked for a trade, that yes, you can have me if I can have whatever you have. And they said, what do you want? What do we have? And she said, I want the keys to the doors that you use to go out and come back in every time. And they specifically said that we can give you anything, but the keys to the doors, because that's the only condition that we have to come here. And that's the only promise we made, that we're not going to give those keys.
This is really surprising if it's a Zaif hadith, but still, why does it mention a portal?
Literally. Keys to the doors of the heavens.
Did this concept come in? At that time, whoever made this hadith.
So doors of the heavens. So she did end up seducing them, and they did fall for it, and they did give her the key, which could be anything. Could be a kalama, or could be anything that that can actually make you go towards this word. Why are we talking about here? This is the word which is sababa. This is the word we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah is saying that we gave that to Dhul-Qarnayn.
Yeah.
And we also to Khidr alayhi salam.
Other, yeah.
So there's a lot more going on than we're told.
Yeah.
And if you look at it a little more, and I don't even have all the collection because there's so much. It is scattered so much that even in this day and age where everything is online and everything, we still have a hard time because this sort of knowledge, since there was no psychology around this, it was not structured. That all of those knowledge about all of those ahadith would be compiled in at one in one book or one collection, which is relevant to these sort of concepts. So, but whatever we still have readily available, it shows us so much that it explains a lot more questions and answers to the core of the confusion that a thinking Muslim would have. So this is something which is why we need to know Harut Marut, the timing of Harut Marut through Ali bin Abi Talib. And one more thing before I actually go further, Ali bin Abi Talib and Abdullah bin Abbas, the two known geniuses of the history of the world. These are the two of the biggest scholars that you can possibly fathom. Your mind can not even adhere to the kind of level that they had achieved. Of course, Ali bin Abi Talib being way more superior. And then Abdullah bin Abbas later on coming in and, lighten up the whole beacon of what Quran can do. One time Abdullah bin Abbas just stood up, and I'll tell you why I'm mentioning it in a minute, in the majlis of the Sahaba, and he said, I can answer any question that you have. Any question, and there's a specific word he used. Any question from the universe. From the Quran, I'm going to answer any question that you have from the universe. One Sahabi stood up and said, that's a mighty claim, buddy, because there are a lot of things that Quran would not cover. It's not even in the subject. And he said, why don't you test me? Because I'm going to try and use the Quran, not my knowledge. I'm going to use this book. And the hadith about Abdullah bin Abbas is the fact that may Allah give you the knowledge of the book. Yeah. So this is the prayer of the Prophet about it. Yeah. So and he did answer the question, because the companion said, "Why don't you prove to me where the Quran says about when the Prophet was going to part us?" Yeah. And he said, "Okay, let me just tell you, the Quran is." He said, "It's such an easy question. You should have given me a tougher one." Yeah. The parting is the ayah, the surah, the Taghabun. Yeah. He said that was the Quran was telling us the biggest parting that you can possibly have as an ummah was the parting of the Prophet. And that was the 64th surah of the Quran. The Quran knew. The Quran told us that after the 63rd year, you will have the biggest separation that you can possibly imagine from wherever of all the things that you can possibly have. And the Prophet says that whoever dies and you're mourning whoever is died, you should also reciprocate my death over and see that your loss is way less than any loss that you can possibly suffer. Now this is how big of a loss that, of course, we all know that through our own love of the Prophet. The point is, this man Abdullah bin Abbas was given the prayer by the Prophet of the knowledge of the book. Make sure you remember, it's a keyword here. Ali bin Abi Talib, another person, through the Prophet, we know that this is the peak of knowledge. Yeah. That I am the city of knowledge and Ali is the door. Yeah. And so these are the two people we know. And ironically, these are the very two people that talk intergalactic all the time. And they keep using the Quran and Hadith to talk about portals and intergalactic things. About Dhul-Qarnayn, in Ibn Kathir, Ali bin Abi Talib is the person who says this is the man who got the power by Allah to travel in the clouds.
Travel through the clouds, yeah.
Wow. Now, if he was traveling through the clouds, then everything else falls right in my perspective here. Yeah. Because the clouds is not those just clouds. Clouds is that portal, the ways that is going to open. That is going to seem like a cloud. And Ali bin Abi Talib is the person who says Harut Marut is in the time of Idris al-Islam. His son Hassan bin Ali bin Abi Talib is talking about Yajuj and Majuj. having such a shape and structure that one of their ears are are hanging, so they're so big that they're hanging down to the floor, and they're so big that they use one of their ears as mattress and the other as a blanket when they sleep.
There's exactly the same narration by Ali in Tafsir ibn Kasir regarding the people Zulqarnain meets. The people who complain that there's no shelter from the sun. He says that these are the people who would go into the water at the daytime and would come out at the night.
Well, maybe I'm confusing that.
And they are so big, they sleep on one ear and they use the other ear as a blanket.
Okay, yeah, well, I could be wrong in mixing up these two, but I'm pretty sure it was Hassan bin Ali's hadith that I'm quoting right now. So it could be.
But it's not about Yajuj Majuj. That's
maybe maybe that is the place where those are the same kind of creatures that live there.
Yeah.
Maybe those aliens are similar in structure.
Yeah.
We have small ears. Those planetary things have bigger ears. So another of that proof of that is Dabatul Ard, the ayah in the last of the right after Yajuj Majuj, by the way.
Yeah.
The sign of Allah is going to come upon us, which is going to be an animal.
Yeah.
Who is going to start to speak.
Yeah.
And this is the Quran we're talking about. This is not any sort of weak hadith or any sort of historical event.
Yeah.
This is the future, which is spoken by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, that one of the signs that is going to be a creature that is going to roam around the planet.
Yeah.
And we say Dabatul Ard, all of a sudden we start to pull that out of this planet.
Yeah.
That is going to be a subterranean creature.
Yeah.
Or some amphibian or whatever. But if we look at this perspective, then Dabatul Ard is an intergalactic portal opening and some bird coming in or some animal coming in or some creature coming in, which is going to be speaking in the language of the Jews. Well, I'm saying Jews because at the time the ayah is talking about Jews in the Quran. Bani Israel is being addressed at that time. However, it could be anybody because this ayah is separate. So what I'm saying is,
we have to, I'm sorry to cut you off here. We have to keep in mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He created 7 heavens, 7 earths, and then He says He created many creations between those.
Yes, Surah Bani Israel. Again, the same surah.
Yeah.
That is the surah among these 3 surah. Ayah 70.
That same ayah,
70,
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, and Allah has the power to gather them whenever He wants.
As a sign.
Yeah, as a sign.
As a sign,
Yeah. So the point here is that if it's a sign, it has to be before the day of judgment.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not a sign.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a sign. That's actually,
so
I think,
not the gathering of the Yawm al-Qiyamah, but it's a gathering where Allah says that He has the power whenever He wills. So this way, if Yajuj Majuj are some other creatures from some other planets, and Dabbatul Ard or those birds who are gonna come and take the dead bodies of the Yajuj Majuj, all of them will be interacting with us.
Oh, for sure. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that. Secondly, the fact that, when let me give you another example here, because this is what we're talking about, the doorways right now. We're talking about Sadain here. That's why all of this is very relevant. When the time of Abraha, all of a sudden birds come in.
Yeah.
And it is written, the commentary, that the people of Makkah
said... That's the commentary of Surah Al-Fil.
Yeah. Okay. And the Abraha is the people of the elephant.
Yeah.
They say that we had not seen these birds before, nor did we see these birds again. These are not regular birds that came in.
Yeah.
And Yajuj and Majuj will be picked up by some birds. And that is something which we better understand, that there is no local planetary bird here that can pick up people by the millions.
Yeah.
And then, throw them in the sea.
Yeah.
So it's not a normal, scientifically explainable event. So let's just take the lens off of science and think of the multi-dimensional which universe that we're living in right now, which are applicable to us every single second. We just can't see them.
Yeah.
And since we cannot see them, we think that they don't exist. My theory is very simple. It's not a theory. My iman is very simple. That I'm not even limiting it to 11 dimensions. Thousands and thousands of dimensions are shrunk into this universe.
Yeah.
And since we can only see 3 dimensions, everything else becomes ghaib, and that is what the Muslim is told to believe into. Not just the wahi, not just the angels, not just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, but the very fact that you are so limited of a creature that everything, well, at least most of everything, or most of whatever the universe is ghaib to you.
Yeah.
And if you really want to believe, then you have to believe, if you want to gain guidance from the Quran, then you have to believe all of the ghaib.
Yeah.
Yu'minuna bil ghaib. That, I don't know why we just attribute Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only as ghaib.
Yeah.
That is, well, I also believe that some of those things are going to open up, because in the story of the prophets, when Salih alayhi salam, people started to ask for a sign of Allah.
Yeah.
And Allah says, ask them what you want me to put in that animal and make sure no one is left out. And somebody said size, somebody said this, neck, and that kind of ear of the camel, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And what happened then?
Yeah.
What happened right after? The stone actually opened up to give way to the camel to come into this planet.
Yeah.
You have to understand, this is, we as Muslims believe that it's a magic trick that Allah is pulling, which you can.
Yeah.
It's not a magic, the word magic has a negative psychology, but it's a magical event that Allah is.
For us,
Yeah.
Miracle.
Well, no, I don't want to use the word miracle.
Is the
The
right
miracle
word,
itself
right,
is the I'm talking about, I'm addressing the psychology here.
Yeah.
Miracle to a Muslim is a kun of Allah against all of those laws.
Yeah.
As soon as we think on that line, those lines, we are actually committing a sin, in my opinion, a big sin that Allah didn't know what these people are going to ask for. This, in my own psychology, is going against the ilm of Allah. That someone came up with an idea that Allah didn't know about, and Allah said, okay, I'll answer you right now. So if people of Saleh asked for that camel was created millions of years ago on a totally different planet.
Yeah.
These guys just came up with whatever imagination they could come up with. Then Allah said, you know what, this is one of the many meadows that I have. Here you go. This is what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Because if we think for a moment as a Muslim that someone came up with a question and the prophet, any prophet, demanded Allah's miracle on it and Allah produced it at that time, that to me, as a Muslim psychology, a person with a Muslim psychology, counters the belief of Allah as alim. Because the qadr and the free will is on this planet. Allah is not on this planet. Allah is everywhere, and Allah was way before this planet, and He knows everything about whatever is going to happen later on. So the people, when they ask for miracles, those miracles come to life here, even though they're already registered somewhere else in the past. I'll give you an example here. When Shaqul Qamar happened, now there are a lot of hadiths which actually say that the Prophet ﷺ did split the moon. The Quran doesn't say that. It's okay. I actually believe that the Prophet ﷺ split the moon. But it was supposed to be split in the timeline. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, those people actually asked, and the Prophet ﷺ split the moon, even though it was supposed to split in as one of those signs of the Qiyamah. And that's the psychology of a Muslim, that these sort of things, when they happen from an already placed arsenal of of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why I am going to quote another hadith, because we were talking about this, that Musa alayhi salam asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about the creations, other creations. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Musa that, should I tell you about one of the meadows, that there is a creature that is feeding in one of my meadows, that if you look at your own planet, it can swallow that planet in a single bite without even any hassle. This would be not even a meal for that planet, for that creature. And he is in one of the meadows of one of the many meadows that I have.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a coincidence that this ayah in Surah Bani Israel, ayah 70, it's not a coincidence this actually happens to be part of this constellation. You know what the ayah is? That we've created many creations. You are the better of many creations.
Yeah. Yeah.
The better of many, not the best of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Although that's the most common belief that human beings are the ashraf al-makhluqat.
Well, that is not in Islamic literature.
Yeah.
It's Islamic culture, but not not in the Quran Hadith.
Actually, some Mufassirin have derived this from ahsani taqweem. So from that they derive that we are the best of the creation. But from this ayah, it clearly shows that we are better than many, but not all.
But not all, and that's the point here. Because ahsani taqweem would mean when Allah creates anything.
Yeah.
Allah creates it as the finest possible way.
Yeah.
So in my own opinion, even the ants are created as ahsani taqweem.
Yeah.
When Allah creates something, it is created as ahsani taqweem.
Yeah, we can't create anything like that with that.
But again, I'm not going to contest against this very commentary of the ulama. What I'm trying to say is very simple things here. When we are going to open the portals of Zulkarnain, it's not the first time these portals are going to be opened. Because these happen on accounts in hadith and in the Quran so many times we just don't look at it.
Yeah.
Since in Surah Naml, when Ifrit is told to bring, Sulman asked who's going to bring the throne of Sabah. That's an actual portal that guy is opening.
Yeah.
Because this man, if he was trying to use any pathway, it would have he would have spent some time before he can bring the throne in. But the fact that he says before you can blink the eye, that means he's going to come and travel through time, and right at that very point in time, he's going to bring it.
Yeah.
This is such an amazing fact because it's in the Quran.
Yeah.
That this man did not spend any time to bring it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like a hologram he presented in front of him.
Yeah.
He actually brought the real thing.
Very important point here is that when he was asked, he said that it's the knowledge of book Allah has given.
Yes, that's what I'm coming at. Yeah. That's the
he was
same.
not a jinn.
That's. Did we not cover this event?
I don't remember. Maybe we did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long series you're doing. So the story is about Sulaiman alayhi salam, who is in his own palace at that time with all the jinnat and all the human beings on left and right side, and there's a big problem going on between jinn and humans at that time in the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, because both were trying to actually it was like a political thing going on between jinnat that we're way more we're better than the human beings, and since Sulaiman is a man, so he actually sides with the men. So Sulaiman alayhi salam gives everybody a test here so that the jinn could know that human beings are only limited if they do not have the knowledge of the book. And if they have the knowledge of the book, they're far superior than any and every power that jinns have. All the jinns can have all the powers, but any human being with this power of the book can supersede and overpower any other thing. So he gives them the test, and Ifrit is the mightiest of all jinns at that time. Okay, and Sulaiman alayhi salam says, who of you guys can bring me the throne of Sabah? And that's the queen in Yemen at that time. And this is this is Jerusalem we're talking about. This is going on in Jerusalem, or wherever that placement is. The first temple, actually the second temple. Yeah. So Ifrit says, "I am going to bring you that throne way before you can, before you can spend enough time to stand up from wherever you're sitting. From wherever you're sitting to the time it's going to take you to stand up. And now look, this is a contest going on of time. Do not be confused about this. It is a contest going on about who can actually travel through time faster.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that you can bring such an amazing power you're going to show, that's a constant thing. You guys can or have the power to bring weird things and bring mountains into from one place to another. The real contest is here about who can do it faster. This is what the Quran is saying.
Yeah.
Now, we shouldn't be, mixing this up, because as a normal human being, bringing the throne of Saba is such a big thing. We forget the fact that was not the rule of the game.
Yeah.
The rule of the game was that, both of you can bring it.
Yeah.
Who can bring it quicker?
Yeah.
The jinn says, I can bring you way before you can stand up. And the human says, I can bring you, that's too slow.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it way before you can blink your eye.
Yeah.
And he does bring that throne back. And Sulaiman al-Salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, narrates that detail there here in the Quran as well. That how did you do that? And he says, because I have the knowledge of the scripture. I have the knowledge of the scripture, knowledge of the book. So this is the book we're actually holding right now.
Yeah.
Now we have to understand how all of this comes into play, and how to place all of this into our psychology and raise our kids accordingly. So this is something which is so beyond science and beyond a natural psychology of a regular human being who's not told about this from day one and explained it through so many angles. Otherwise, what is the commentary? Read this surah and see what the commentary has. There is absolutely no answer to how did that man bring about the throne of Saba. We're not going to go into detail of what happened later on, but this is the point here. So if there is a teleportation going on in the Quran, if there is a portal opening up in the Hadith, if there is 1,000 years of age and bringing every animal in a single ark inside the Quran, if there is so much astronomy at the same time going on, then why are we not looking into Atba Sababa as one of those many things which is already in the Quran? And even if that's just my opinion, which is fresh right now, please reject it. Sahabas are actually using it. And if Sahabas are using it, then whatever the median between us and Sahaba, all the commentary between us and the Sahaba is, we should be able to not just place it according to the intellect of the people at that time, because that was the point of the Quran for those people. Because at that time, science they didn't even know what the concept is. So Sahabas, they actually had to get the absolute knowledge because they were gaining it straight from the Prophet. And the fact that we have testimonies from the Sahaba also signifies that this has to be preserved. We can't just, take it as one-off account of Abdullah bin Abbas or Ali bin Abi Talib and just, forget about it. And this is something that might be useful at that time and not here because of some sort of people talking about these sort of things as imaginary or something. Sahabis are not like that. It's an absolute knowledge we're talking about here. It's not a temporary event that Sahaba is talking about this. We take Sahabis as permanent beacons of knowledge, and they are going to remain like that, inshallah, till the day of Qiyamah. So use this momentum and make sure we go into this next ayah. This is why this ayah is the most important. I told you before, this is where the whole concept comes to life, because all of a sudden Yajuj and Majuj are coming in. And I keep getting this question of why are we talking about Yajuj and Majuj so much? Because Yajuj and Majuj are connected to Zulkarnain. Zulkarnain is connected to this technology. This technology is converted to Dajjal. There's a simple trail. There is no confusion here. And how is Dajjal connected to Zulkarnain? Because Zulkarnain is in Surah Kahf. Surah Kahf is the key to open up every door. Now, the fact that Jews are also talking about the Yajuj and Majuj with the Messiah, that's not a coincidence. They're right, one after the other. They're in the same year. And maybe even the same month, for all we know, the way time is going to be passing at that time, in the time of Isa's second coming, inshallah. So let's just go into